Hey everybody, and welcome to The Common Tangent, the podcast where we pick a topic, wind up our hosts, and let them run as we navigate the tangent together wherever it goes. I'm Annie, and I'm joined with my fellow hosts, RJ.
That's me.
And Soul.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Yippee! I have way too much fun.
Kick that off right off the bat, I'll tell you.
Exactly. We're starting off strong already. Tonight is going to be interesting because true to form, we're going off script and talking about pop culture because I didn't give any fair warning for this topic. Specifically, we're going to be talking about movies, but as is with us, we have no idea where it'll go from there. As far as movies go, the reason why I decided to pick this topic was because of my own little background in the film and entertainment industry. And I am actually in the process of writing a short film that I plan on producing with a couple of my friends who have voiced interest in them. As I was doing this, because I'm supposed to have a meeting tomorrow with the main producer, I imagine, for this film, who also happens to be a friend of mine, I started thinking about all the different films and things that we've been seeing, kind of like trailers for, Xena and I. And Xena's very interested in seeing the movie Hail Mary, right? Have you guys seen the trailer for that yet?
No.
I'm not sure, no, but I can look it up while we're talking.
So Hail Mary, I don't know the full concept. I've never actually looked too much into it, but I've seen the trailers multiple times, and it stars Ryan Gosling, and basically he is sent into space for some sort of calamity or something that they chose this guy to send off into space to try to save the human race, essentially. And what ends up happening is he ends up making a friend with an extraterrestrial life form, an alien that basically kind of looks like a rock golem, which I thought was kind of funny because it's actually really cute. And of course he calls him Rocky because, you know, it looked like a really interesting premise because of course there's the drama of it all because he's alone in space with this creature and they're trying to help each other out because they're friendly towards each other. At the same time, all the stakes are on both of them because they're both actually trying to save their species, their race. I just thought it was a really interesting movie trailer that has come out recently. And by passing our local movie theater, seeing Scream 7 posters, which the fact that there's 7 of those films now, I'm actually kind of floored. But then also seeing Scary Movie trailer for the newest one coming out, which I'm very excited to see as well.
One of the few franchises that will never die, it seems like.
I swear it does not. What do you guys think? Like, any movies or pop culture out there that you're looking forward to that you've heard of recently?
So before you answer that, I just want to say, if anybody else goes to see the Hail Mary movie, we'll be recording this right before it comes out. This podcast will be released on April 2nd, so it should be out about a week. And if you've seen it, jump in the comments and let us know what you think about it.
So I live under a rock. I am the rock golem. I don't know much about pop culture. For me, though, when you're talking about something that's nostalgic and kind of lives on forever, it's going to relate to a video game.
Yep. And I mean, that's all how we all, met essentially, is through gaming as well. Like I mentioned, this whole thing is supposed to be pop culture as a whole. So video games is right up in there too.
I think the biggest movie that is on my coming up this year, there's 2 of them. One comes out real soon. It should be out, I think, the day that this podcast releases is the new Super Mario World movie. And then in a couple months, the new He-Man movie will come out because I'm nostalgic and we're talking about nostalgic and pop culture. That's He-Man from the 80s where I was born and raised. And then Henry Cavill's coming out and remaking Voltron. And I think that comes out this year, maybe next year. I'm not sure. But I'm excited about that. But when we're talking about video games, I love video games too. I could talk about video games forever too as well. Yeah, for sure.
That's so That's so wild. I didn't realize that he was coming out with a Voltron movie. I know he was talking or in talks to do a Warhammer movie.
That is in the
but
works
I didn't
as well. And I don't know if that's a movie or TV
Yeah.
show. I'm not sure, but yes, that is something that he's working on as well.
Gotcha. Well, a lot of the good things to look forward to coming up. And then thinking of nostalgia too, just thinking maybe like trying to stay on the movies just a little bit, because Soul, even though you're saying you live on a rock and not hip to pop culture, so to speak, I imagine there's at least some like movies that definitely bring the nostalgia out of you. So if you could choose a couple of films that really scream nostalgia for you, what would they be?
Oh, like true nostalgia for me, I think it's surrounded more towards Christmas movies. A Christmas Story, hands down. Like, I can remember the feeling and where I was the first time I watched it. The first Christmas I watched it with my dad. And they did remake. Well, they didn't remake it. They made a second one, which wasn't anywhere near as good as the first one. But
Right.
I don't think it was any bit close to the first one.
it was no.
Right.
How do
No, it
you
wasn't.
build up
It's
the Red Ryder
hard.
BB gun at all for the second one?
You can't. No, not in this day and age. You can't
No.
No.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, if I remember correctly, the first one, it's not like they had internet, and it's not like they had anything. They had to go by rushing home to listen to the radio. They didn't even really have a TV, so the nostalgia of that makes a whole different story.
Yes, it does. So I don't even know if age accuracy was correct with the second one that came out, because it was the son who is now the adult. He would be the same age, if not older, than my parents. And he looked nothing like my parents.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah, I never actually saw the second one, so I'm falling on this particular part. I have heard a lot of people say the same thing in terms of it's not as good as the first one. At which point my argument is, of course it's not. You know, A Christmas Story is a classic, and a really big classic at that. So the fact that they decided to do a sequel, however long it's been since the first, you know, it kind of makes sense to me why it would kind of fall flat, because it feels like a lot of sequels to like older classic movies that have come out over the years have always performed poorly.
I would love to see in the comments too. You keep going back to the comments. If there's a nostalgic movie that stands out to you that says, this is the one that hit me the most when I was a kid, or something that still hits me now, put them in the comments, because I would like to see what new movies I haven't seen or this to go to. And you're talking about like the second version of something that isn't necessarily better than the first, but could be sometimes all that kind of pulp culture. I'll tell you what's going on right now for me for something that's a reboot. Well, a reboot? Yeah, because technically they're calling it season 1, so it's like kind of a reboot. I was a big fan of Scrubs. Scrubs was out like 9 or 10 seasons. And then
I forgot about that.
And like got out for like 10 years, 15 years, and they come back, and I'm watching like the first 4 episodes, and I'm like, I am falling in love with this show all over again, brand new again, and it's a whole different story, different timeline, different everything. Yeah, it's a little evolved, a little bit more mature compared to the other one, because you can't get away with some of the jokes that they used to make, but it was still really good. So if you haven't seen the new Scrubs, that's a small recommendation for me.
I have to jump in on that one. The show The Pit, which is like it's a weird concept spinoff of the 80s, 90s TV show ER.
Yes.
Did you watch that?
Yes.
I loved watching that. I used to go stay at my sister's house when her husband was working overnight, and we would watch it. We would watch that and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. There's another one we watched together. I don't remember what it was called. Oh man, that just brought back memories. I love The Pit. They did just as good making The Pit fitting today's culture as ER did fitting the 80s, 90s culture. Like,
see, there's pulp culture everywhere, depending on where you're getting, no matter if it's movies, TV shows, or games, for sure. I've watched the first season. I have not watched the second season because we just haven't had time, because I'm catching up with other shows that I like to watch, but we can get into other shows that we're watching and try to influence everybody else that's listening to the podcast to listen to the stuff that we're listening to. Then I'm curious what you guys are watching as well. But is there any other TV shows now, or movies like you were talking about, Annie, that are hitting the nostalgia now, that if you could watch something back in like the 80s and 90s, or 2000s, whatever, depending on who's listening to the podcast, that hits you that you can watch over and over again? That's the question.
Oh yeah, if you have that timelessness with something, then you have struck gold. So considering we kind of went on a medical procedural tip here, I will say for a little bit I did get into Grey's Anatomy, but after like the third season I kind of fell off the wagon because I was just really watching it with my mom because she loves Grey's Anatomy. And I ended up jumping into House. And I think the main reason why I really like that show is because of Hugh Laurie's character, House, because of how really blunt he is. He actually reminded me a little bit of a medical provider that I actually used to work for. True to form, he was, an older gentleman, the typical been there, done that, seen it all sort of guy. He also works in transplant, which is very specialized medicine. It was always funny to end up running into patients like I do my stuff with like rooming them and whatnot. And then I talk to him and I can overhear certain conversations that he has with patients as he's like walking them out or whatever. And he's straight up like calling them out, like, the numbers don't lie, what's going on, so on and so forth. And it was always interesting to hear some of the stories that people would tell to try to explain certain things, and at the same time also kind of give that grace of like, maybe there was a little bit of something else going on that the numbers couldn't necessarily explain, or they couldn't explain what was reflected in numbers. And anyway, tangent aside, I love House. It's a great show to me, especially because of the humor and just the bluntness of the character is kind of amusing to me.
So for somebody who's in the movie business and stuff, do you analyze it when you watch it, or can you sit back and enjoy it? And then you're talking about like specific characters. The only way for like a movie or a TV show or even a video game, sometimes if it hits you, do you have to relate to a character or have somebody in your life that reminds you of somebody who you can relate to make it hit home a little bit more?
No. So, God, I'm trying to think of the last time a game really hit me hard whenever it came to like a character loss. And ironically, it's actually a little bit difficult for me to place. I will say that I have been affected by video games a lot in terms of getting connected with characters, even if it wasn't a character that I can relate to someone, in real life, as you were mentioning, but just as a whole, because something with their personality, I enjoy. It reminds me, so a couple of characters do come to mind. One is a character called Limmel from the Star Ocean franchise. She was in a Star Ocean, The Last Hope, if I remember correctly. And what was interesting is that this character is this tiny little girl. The girl looks like she's maybe about 7 or 8 or something like that, but she's actually a like teenager, like a 13 to 16-year-old teenager stuck in this little girl's body because of magic that went awry that basically trapped her forever in this body. And I'd say mindset a little bit. The mindset is a little bit less obvious. I just thought that the character herself was just super cute, and immediately, like any character that comes off that way to me, I'm like, okay, must protect you at all costs. You are precious. And her character quip, almost every time she finishes a sentence, she ends with the word K. So the main character's name is Edge, and she starts calling him Edgy, and she calls the main female character a nickname as well. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was just really funny to see the interactions between the two, where like Edge is like, hey, my name is Edge, and she's like, Edgy. It's like, okay, little child, sure. And she's really friendly with those two characters, but then there's another character named FaZe that comes into play. And so she's just like Edgy, the female character whose nickname I can't remember. And then she goes over to FaZe, and FaZe is like, oh, am I FaZy or, something like that. And she's just like, nope, just FaZe. Like typical kid that has their favorite of like, nah, I don't like you that much to give you a nickname.
Just seems like whatever hits you the hardest is what attracts you to the nostalgia of it, is what I'm saying.
Yes, definitely. Like I think certain mechanics whenever it comes to games like that are really that drive that nostalgia home. And I think that with Limo's character too, it really just is because of nostalgia of childhood. And it just makes me think of all the different things in my childhood that I absolutely love, that I still do, that are like really classic. So we're talking about nostalgia and classic movies and TV shows. If y'all know the Land Before Time series of videos.
Yes, I think
Yes.
there's like 9 or 10 of them or something like that now, or something like
Yes.
that.
I don't even know. Like I lost track. I know that there was at least 7 because my
Good
favorite
gravy.
one was I think number 4. Whenever Spike, spoiler alerts, but I mean,
If you haven't seen the movie from 1988, spoiler alert for sure.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Please.
If you have not seen it, please pause the podcast and go watch it now.
I'm sure it's streaming on Disney or Amazon or something like that. Go find it.
Right. But I love the 4th one whenever Spike talks for the first time, because I remember that being like such a big thing back then, because you had these first 3 films where Spike doesn't talk at all. He just grunts and, makes noises. And then randomly this one movie, he finally talks and we're like, oh my God. It was the greatest thing.
All right. I just want to correct the record for anybody that was curious. There's 14 of them. By the way.
14?
Yes, 14. I have not watched all of them. I thought I have. And then I looked it up. I'm like,
Wow.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Talk about time.
That is a lot. Agreed.
Yeah,
Oh,
the first one was 1988. Anyway, so Land Before Time. You were talking about movies prior for that hit you home. You were talking about Land Before Time. I think you were talking about A Christmas Story. If I look back at like nostalgia, I think it's got to be generational, because everybody has their generational movie or TV show that at the time that they're watching TV, it hits. We're a little bit older than some people that are maybe listening. So you might say, oh, Pokemon might be something that hits you a little bit when you were a kid and things like that. And that didn't come out till later on. For me, for like my time frame would have been like Goonies and
Good movie.
Gremlins and OG Ghostbusters and those kind of movies that are out there that if you see them, they may or may not hold up, but you still want to watch them because it reminds you of something in the past. So though I think if I'm remembering movies off the top of my head, those are the first ones that come to mind. Like I got to watch those again. Love those.
Yeah, definitely. Those are great.
Show the kids Goonies. They'd be fine. I think I showed my kids Goonies. They're almost 10 and they were great. They loved watching it till a certain part they scared of it and then they run, all that kind of stuff. So I love watching these old school movies that hit me a little bit that I remember through the eyes of new people watching them. I think that's my favorite part of nostalgia.
Yeah. And so here's a question for you then, because you brought those up, and I can't say I quote unquote grew up with them, but they are definitely a big nostalgia hit for me too. But the Gremlins, going back to the Gremlins specifically, because freaking Mogwai and Gizmo, if I could get myself a Gizmo plush, I would. Okay. I don't care how old I am.
Just don't throw them in the washing machine.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't throw them in the washing machine.
If you don't know that, don't go back and watch that movie too. Oh no.
If you had to, going again to the sequels not being better than the original, do you think that the second one, whenever they were in New York, if I remember correctly, do you think the second movie was as good as the first?
Talking about Gremlins, I don't remember the second one, to be honest with you. I just remember the first one. I was just looking it up, like, did they make a sequel? Did they do this? And they did, but I'd have to rewatch the second one to do that, because I think the first one just hit me like the way it did, and then I just don't remember. As I'm looking at this up to make sure that we're fact checking our stuff, is the first Gremlins came out in 1984. The second one came out in 1990. And I did not know that there was one. And then currently there's rumors that there's a third one coming in 2027, but I don't know. It could be. It's on IMDb, so whatever, take it for what it's worth, but it just says that it's in the works, and that we'll see.
Okay, yeah. So if it's on IMDb, then that most likely is going to happen until the point that they are finally like, okay, yeah, this thing is canceled.
Yeah, they read the script and they're like, this was great. Now it doesn't hit anymore, for sure.
What about you, Soul? Do you have a thought of the two?
Sorry.
The
I think he's talking about
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
I never watched them.
We're gonna have to go down a nostalgia train just for the hosts, not just the viewership.
I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, but you're allowed to now.
Well, yes. There's a lot of things for me to choose from. I'm still catching up on a lot of things. So that's why you're like pop culture. I'm like, oh boy, pop my bubble.
I've been thinking about pop culture. We were just talking about this last night, where certain things hit. Like, say that there's a movie come out and you guys are streaming, doing your thing, and then someone says something and it's a joke, and you don't understand it because it's nostalgic for them, but it's not for you. Do you just fake it and say, yeah, that's funny, I remember that? Or do you actually ask what the joke is or what the nostalgic is so you can actually learn it?
Oh, I ask. I straight up tell them I have no idea what you're talking about. You're going to have to explain it to me like I'm 5.
Sometimes you do. I mean, I didn't know. Someone had to explain to me what '07 meant, and I felt like a boomer, but it's fine.
07?
Yeah, they say put '07 in chat, and it's like...
like you're saluting.
Yeah. So, I mean, like,
okay.
It's just something that's never came to me, but those things, random things, I have to be like, yeah, I'll admit I have no idea. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. If something comes up in my chat where it's some sort of reference that I don't get, I'll probably ask, but sometimes I just kind of like gloss over it, not gonna lie, because of the fact that I don't get it. So I'll like read it and kind of go like, oh, okay, moving on. Because I'm awkward.
Speaking of moving on, though, I really want to ask this question real quick, and I don't want to take over like being asking questions and stuff like that, but is there a pop culture something that your friends truly love and you gave it a shot and you can't admit to them that it's not good or it didn't hit you the way it hit them? I'll use one as an example, and a friend of mine is going to listen to this, and then he's going to, like, next time I see him, he's going to pop me in the back of my head, but he's going to... I tried to watch The Office. I enjoyed parts of The Office. Certain humor I can enjoy, but it's not as catching to me as everybody else loves it so much. And I refuse to tell him that I don't really truly like it and never finished it. But he could quote every line and enjoy it and make him smile. And that's okay. Like, if it makes you smile, that's okay. But I can do that. Is there anything that somebody asked you to watch because they love it so much and you tried to give it a try and you're like, no, this isn't for me?
Yes, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yes.
She's hesitating to answer it. She's like, yep, I remember that. Nope.
So everybody's going to cringe at this one. Yes, I have one. I have a very fabulous example. So I like funny, but my funny is not the same funny as everybody else's funny.
Facts. That we are to say, yep. Exactly.
Yes. So Aunt had me watch the Austin Powers movies with him, and that was like sticking needles in my eyeballs. It was awful.
Is that
Mike Myers?
I could be wrong, but is that more? Would you consider that more of a male comedy? Like, more males?
It's just
more
dumb funny. It's just dumb funny. You don't have to have a brain cell to laugh at it. And I know that sounds so bad, but it's just, I don't like dumb funny. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's one of the ones where everybody's like, oh my God, it's so amazing. It's totally rad. And I'm like, it's not.
I get you. I can't watch train wrecks. Like, if I'm watching a movie or a TV show and something, like, it's totally like, I cannot believe that this person's not oblivious to what's going on. I look away, or I suddenly have to go to the bathroom and then let somebody else watch that part, and I'll come back and the train wreck's over or whatever.
I was talking about train wrecks and all that, brother. Whew.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, story for you. As far as the Austin Powers stuff goes, like, I get where you're coming from. For me, like, I could watch it with other people and kind of like, be into it, but like, just watching it by myself, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it doesn't actually hit me as, as funny. There have definitely been plenty of other things that people have kind of shown me or gotten like wanting to get me into that I've kind of been like, good for you. This is nice, but it's not for me.
But yeah, my sense of humor is very dry, very, very British type sense of humor.
What did you go to then, like, to try to explain your humor? Would you explain it, and what some examples of that you would watch that would bring out that example?
Well, it's a really old show, and I've slowly started collecting the DVDs for it. It's from the 80s. It's called As Time Goes By. It's like the original version of Friends, but nobody has seen that. Coupling,
I'm gonna have
another
to look that up.
British.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Coupling's a good one. It's very dry, ironic. Like, yeah, that there are some very true facts to that, but the fact that you are like you're emphasizing it is making it funny type deal. I can't think of anything modern day that's like dry funny. I like quick quibs, but they can't be like so off color. There has to be some truth to it, I guess, to make it like actually funny for me.
It can't be forced. Like it's natural quickness.
Correct.
Yes. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Just look it up.
Yes.
Coupling came out. That's 4 seasons. Came out in 2000.
Oh,
Yes.
You want to get educated? Find out what you're talking about.
It's really good. It's a really good series. It's basically Europe's version of Friends, but it's not as extreme. But I think Friends is funny. I do think Friends is funny, especially now watching it. The age concept thing is weird because I'm now, 15 years older than what the actual characters are, but the characters are back from the 90s.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So watching it from that different perspective, the things that they're worried about and concerned about and stressed about just seems so small compared to what the world is facing now.
Yeah, because because everything then wasn't such a life-ending moment.
Thing. Like the 90s were amazing. Like as a kid, I remember being a kid and remembering the 90s. Like the 90s were fun. Early 2000s, it was fun. The biggest thing you had to worry about were the computers crashing midnight, January
Y2K.
1st. Yeah, the Y2K,
Exactly,
2000.
Yes.
When Blockbuster charged everybody 1,000 years late for their movies. Like that was your biggest concern, spending more than $1 on gasoline. So
sure.
For me, that's what pop culture has been lately, is looking back as a full adult, feeling as an adult, looking back onto these things decades ago that other adults were dealing with and being like, damn, I wish I could be an adult back then.
Yeah, it's not like you're living in the past, but you're just enjoying what you remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small
from a different
things.
perspective.
Exactly. And every now and then I'll pull the what's up kind of thing, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Never mind, never mind."
I said totally rad, dude, earlier. Like,
oh my God.
Right. So like we're talking about like slang and stuff like that. So for me,
let the dogs out.
Right. Exactly. Good old Baja Men, early 2000s. Love it. Yeah, it's crazy to think about the amount of nostalgia that is attached to certain things. And slang, of course, is one of them. And for me, I say things like groovy and dig it. And I can't tell you how many times I've said something like that, and people kind of look at me like, "Are you from like the 70s? Like, wait, like are we in a time warp?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. It's just stuck. I don't know."
There's just certain things that
I did.
will stuck. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So what's fun is I have a teenager, and we like to harass her, gentle harass. You got to get her prepared for real life bullying, and 6'7" is a thing right now. I don't understand it for the life of me. She has tried several different ways to explain it, and I don't get it. And that's fine. That's like my dad when he told me that the cool words were bitchin' and cherry when he was growing up. I'm like, it's a fruit. I don't understand. And that's not a nice word to say. I don't understand. So it's the same thing as like being a kid and my dad saying things. Now me being an adult, my kid saying things. I'm like, yeah, there's things I said that sound real dumb.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things that like back in the day or now, even I think every generation has their throwback to this is what we said. And then the next generation comes up with something else, and the previous generation was like, what the hell are you talking about? So, I mean, I think that's never going to end.
Oh, yeah,
but it's
no.
fun looking at it from the different phases in life.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no, the craziness of slang as it evolves will never cease to amaze me. So me and my partner were actually talking about this not too long ago, and this is the moment where I actually drop the thing for the news for the podcast. It's not really news now, but with us expecting, we have had that moment where like we're thinking about all the slang that's coming out now and just kind of wondering like, okay, whenever they grow up, what is their slang gonna sound like? Because we got 6, 7 now, and like it's so weird to. Okay, so putting it out there, Soul, I am right there with you. I don't understand 6, 7. I don't even think my partner understands 6, 7, but she has a Gen Alpha sibling. So she's aware of all of the different lingo and how it is literally like another language. You can have a full-on conversation with them in just their slang alone. And if you don't know it, you are just sitting there completely lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I've heard like 6 different definitions of it. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it really just depends on the context.
So as you're sitting there and laughing at it, so you're like, man, that slaps. Is what you're saying. No,
it does what?
It slaps. Nobody?
That would hurt. No,
I get what he did there.
I do too. It was fun. It's fun to tease him.
Couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. Couldn't help myself.
I gotta make him feel old once in a while.
It's fair. So
pop culture is coming into slangs. It comes into TV shows. I think we talked about a little bit of video games. I would like can kind of evolve on the video games part of it. Is there a nostalgic I don't know a
I have
pop
one.
culture
I have one.
game that
I have one.
from
I have
back in the day that
Yeah.
you would like now?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I have one.
I've seen somebody raising their hand in the back of the classroom.
I hate that you said that because I literally had my hand up for a second because I'm like, I am so excited. I have one. Oh,
I have one.
that's terrible.
I have one.
Oh, that's
Should I be
funny.
like the teacher that looks at souls with their hand up and go, all right, Annie, your turn. No, go.
Freaking, when I talk about nostalgia, that crap happened all the time when I was a kid. Only it was the opposite because I was always the one answering questions. I got tired of me answering everything.
Yes, please go ahead. Go, Soul. I know you're
Fable.
Yay!
Fable. So it originally came out in the late 90s into 2000s, and then the second and the third one followed shortly after. And then they had an attempt at a fourth one that completely failed. It didn't happen. But they teased the remastered one like a year before COVID. And then it was radio silence. We heard nothing until this year. They came out and they are finally releasing the remastered Fable. It's coming out in fall. So
Nice.
the whole community who loved Fable as a teenager, young child, is now just chomping at the bit to play the new game that's coming out this fall as an adult. And it's going to be great because it's going to be a very different perspective playing the game, because we know what we loved and what was amazing about the original Fables and our connection to them. It's going to be curious to see what we love and dislike about the new one and our perspective on it as full-grown adults.
Yes, I really have another question, but I really want to hear Ani's answer to that question.
So this is going to be a little bit of a niche because this was an Xbox 360 exclusive, and it actually does tie into something we talked about earlier in terms of characters and nostalgia effect. So the game is called Lost Odyssey. It was an Xbox 360 exclusive. I believe it was supposed to be Microsoft's, I guess, answer to PlayStation's Final Fantasy series, because, you know, at that time it was still just a PlayStation exclusive. And Lost Odyssey was such a amazing game. I never finished it, and I feel so bad that I never got to finish it. I do want to try to finish it at some point. I might actually do that in a recording of my own at some point. I don't know. But it followed this group of immortals that came from a parallel universe or parallel world They were actually sent as an envoy to take over the world that they came into being. They started to slowly fall in love with the world and decided that they weren't going to take over. And so one of their group, of course, is the power hungry mad guy. So he ends up giving the rest of the immortals amnesia, essentially. He tries to take over the world from behind the scenes, whilst the rest of our heroes really don't remember anything, and they're having to slowly regain their memories. You follow the main character that you follow essentially is a guy named Kaim, who is a mercenary. And over the course of the game, you can unlock these memories that come to him in the form of dreams. Well, some of the stuff that happens involves him having a child with one of the other immortals, but even though they're both immortals, their child is not. So, spoiler alert for anyone that does not know this game and has never played it, but even if I'm gonna give a spoiler here, I still highly recommend this video game and playing it through, because it hits so much harder actually experiencing it than just hearing about it. The daughter, what ended up happening was there was something with the evil guy and some sort of magic that he did, but he ended up making it where the little girl jumps off a cliff into the ocean below. So you've got Kaim and the other immortal who he had the child with, Sarah. They are weeping their eyes out at the fact that they just lost their child, right? We'll flash ahead to, I don't know, I'd say it's probably like 50 some odd years, probably not even that, more like 30 or something. And they end up reuniting with their daughter, who is now a grown woman. Unfortunately, she's very sickly and ends up passing away once they finally reunite. And I tell you, I had never gotten teary-eyed at a video game up until that point. Final Fantasy IX got me close with Vivi, don't get me wrong. But Lost Odyssey, that one scene, because you just get so invested in this guy regaining his memories and knowing that he lost his daughter. And the moment that they reunite, she has that moment where she's like, now I can finally go in peace because I finally found you two again. And she just passes away right there. And oh my God, it hit so hard.
Dang.
It will forever stay in my memory banks as like one of the best games I've ever played. It was great.
No, that's fair. I mean, I won't go into very detail, and I think you need to be the person that they recruit to hire to promote games, because I mean, now I really want to look into that game, and I've never heard of it before. I mean, I think I've heard the title before, but I think you sold it to me, and I don't know how many people that are listening will be sold as well. Nostalgia for me for video games, I remember PlayStation, the little PSP portable, or like the PlayStation portable and all that kind of stuff. There was a game, you've heard of Metal Gear Solid. That's a popular game. That's been out for quite a long time. At the time where the PSP came out and all that stuff, there was a very similar game called Siphon Filter, and I've tried to go back and play it. The first game or two may not be as held up as I remember, but I definitely remember how good it was at the time when it came out. And Assassin's Creed, obviously, of the evolution, the first one, the second one hits that a little bit. And the one that hits me the most, I think, if you're talking about like storyline or whatever, they turned it into a TV show called The Last of Us. And talk about pop culture, go back and play the video game if you haven't, because it's different than the TV show. It has similarities of the TV show, but when you go back to the TV show and you're talking about a whole episode of a character that had a very prevalent point or a prevalent character in the game, and they only gave him one episode in the TV show, that episode, so great if you have not seen it. But that's pop culture to me in a heartbeat. And I mean, I can't go past pop culture in this episode and talking about pop culture without bringing up Star Wars and Yoda. That's just my life. So Yoda's my life. So I mean, if you're gonna go old school, like what pop culture from back in the day, what's hit me now, then through the entire life, that's got to be Yoda and Star Wars for sure.
For sure. Ah, man, pop culture, it hits a different it just hits different because of the fact that it permeates so many different things as a whole because of the umbrella of it all. Like we started at movies, we ended up going into TV, into video games. We're talking about storylines. We've talked about a lot pop culture wise and circled around a dozen times. So I think at this point we are in a good place to go on to our next segment, which
Which is you.
Yes. So
Which is you.
we are going to pass it over to the Fae forecast for today's podcast. Hello and happy time zone, friends. Welcome to the Fae forecast, the segment where we consult the oracle cards for a brief glimpse of advice for the times ahead, or I share a little coach wisdom to strive for your most authentic self. I'm your host, Ani Kailani, your resident Fae incarnate. For those of you that are new, welcome in. And for those of you returning, welcome back. Today I am consulting A Little Book of Fairies by Eugene Fletcher, illustrated by Camellia Fong. And folks, when I tell you, this reading was interesting. Originally, whenever I started pulling for this reading, I got a card that I honestly thought was probably towards something else. So I gave it a few days, and then I consulted the cards again, and I got a card that basically complemented the first one. So you guys are in for a treat today as you get two cards, and tie them today as an overall message for this forecast. The first card was Say It Out Loud. When this card is drawn, it's possible there's something you're afraid of, or that's hanging over you, dragging you down into the depths of despair, where you feel like you are drowning. Whatever it is, say it out loud, or better yet, write it down. Vocalizing your fears is part of the process of confronting them. Sometimes it's all that's needed to make a situation seem manageable. Honestly, folks, I don't know about you, but I resonate with this because there are a lot of times whenever speaking my thoughts out loud helps my thought process. I dare say a lot of listeners out there probably do the same thing. There is research that have shown that talking to yourself out loud is a sign of high functioning intelligence. So if you're one of those people that talks out loud, let it fly. You're thinking hard, and sometimes a little thought out loud can help you put things in perspective. So then the second card was called Crying Out. When this card is drawn, you might be entering a period of grief. It could be that someone close to you has passed, or that a relationship or career has been cut short. Endings are painful. Seek counseling from a professional or open up to people you trust. Talk about what you're going through. And if words don't suffice, go ahead and scream or cry. Sometimes we just need to let it out. And folks, whenever you bring both of those cards together, say it out loud and crying out, this is a message of processing. The collective out there is collectively grieving something, or dealing with some sort of situation that maybe is just a little too big for you to process either on your own or even just within your own mind. That said, by allowing yourself to speak it, you can imagine the power that comes with being able to think it through. And sometimes we all need a little soundboard to kind of bounce ideas and process things off of. A powerful message as we slowly shake off the shackles of winter, and for some of you listeners, maybe it's already spring. For me here, unfortunately, still have a little bit to go, but we're getting there. And that, my collective, is the Fae forecast for this month. My name is Ani Kailani once again, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out here on the Common Tangent, or even if you would like to be on the Fae forecast and have a question answered, drop us a line at the Common Tangent on all socials. Be gentle with yourselves and always strive to be authentic. Thank you.
Welcome back to another edition to Guess the Press. I'm RJ and also joined by our fellow co-host, Annie and Soul. If you are listening to this at home, I appreciate everybody that's throwing in the answers in the comments or even sending me direct messages, because I have family and friends that have listened to this and have made comments while we are streaming or sent me direct messages that says, I thought I knew this answer, and that's what the answer that they picked. I'm like, how come we didn't comment in Spotify and help the algorithm? So please, if you're listening to this right now, go into the Spotify comments and make those comments based on the episode and based on this as well, if you can. Thank you so much for joining us again for Guess the Press. We talked a lot about pulp culture, and I was trying to figure out which ones would work, which ones it didn't. Is there a few that are relatable to pulp culture? I didn't really have too many of them, so I found two that interacted with each other, and it's about food. So both of these next ones that we're going to have are about food. So we're going to start like we normally do. I'm going to give you 3 headlines. One of them is going to be real. One of them is going to be fake. You guys have to tell me which one the real one is. And here are the headlines. Play along if you will. If I'm at home, if you're listening, here is the 3. The first one is City Bakery sets record after creating 900-pound donut for annual festival. Number 2, orchestra plays instruments made from vegetables, earning a Guinness World Record. Or 3, town sets record after lining Main Street with 5,000 pudding cups during a summer festival. Pick which one the real one is.
Okay.
I think A is a real one because towns do that all the time. Based on that fact alone, towns all the time make the biggest, baddest, better than last year's thing all the time, usually in fall or Christmas.
Yeah.
But I could also see my town lining Main Street with pudding cups.
Yeah. That's wild. I am kind of leaning in the direction of the orchestra for the Guinness World Record, because I could kind of see an orchestra trying that. But the other two are like RJ said, like they play into each other, so they're both so relatable. But I think that's part of the reason why I'm leaning towards the second one, because the two of those, like they fit too well, if that makes sense.
I'll let you guys decide.
It's a hard one.
It is.
It's definitely a hard one.
Yeah. All these are very relatable, and that's why I'm trying to make them.
I'm gonna lean with Soul with the donut.
The donut sounds very probable.
All right, so your guess is the City Bakery sets record after creating 900-pound donut for annual festival.
Yes.
Okay, it is a very good guess. I don't know if they've created a 900-pound donut, but they've probably became very, very close. The actual answer I was looking for, I really want to search for these now to make sure that there's not like a 800-pound donut where it kind of sounds good, but it's not 900. But the actual answer I was looking for those who are playing along, in 1998 in Vienna, the group was founded in February of 1998 that consists of 10 musicians, a cook, and a sound technician. All of the members of the ensemble are active in various artistic areas. For example, trained musicians, poets, sculptors, all that kind of stuff. The instruments are made of carrots, celery, peppers, squash, zucchini, and other raw vegetables prior to the performances. Their sound is amplified with the use of a special microphone. After the performances, the leftover vegetables and offcuts are cooked into a soup for the audience. As of March 2019, since the band's inception, more than 150 types of instruments have been invented, and including carrot xylophones, radish bass flutes, pumpkin drums, leek violins, onion.
Leek is a giant green onion.
Oh, there you go. Leek violins, onion maracas, and many, many others. So the one I was looking for was orchestra. Oh my gosh. Orchestra plays instruments made from vegetables, earning a Guinness World Record, which is.
They're an orchestra.
Orchestra. I don't know why.
The orchestra strikes again.
There it is.
I love it so much. When you read it, you're like, I can read that. You're reading it. And then when you spell it out loud, you're like, I didn't say that right. I did not say that right at all. All right. So this one here is the fill in the blank one. We've done this in the past. I'm going to give you a phrase with a blank, and you're going to fill in whatever you feel like it is. Throw out a bunch of ideas if you want, and then I'll tell you exactly what the idea is. If you've heard this story before, if you're 100% sure what the answer is, stand back on it because it is a very popular story. But if you don't know, then play along and try to make it interesting. But this is a food one as well. A blank shaped Cheeto sells for nearly $90,000. This is a real story with a blank. Blank shaped Cheeto sells for nearly $90,000. What do you think the blank is?
Many things.
That really
It's a PG show, though.
You're not. I love how I'm usually the one that's with a PG show. Soul goes,
We knew that's what she said.
This is a PG answer. You're absolutely right.
Oh, Lord.
You can come up with a couple different answers, and then I'll tell you if you came right.
For $90,000?
A Cheeto sells for nearly $90,000.
I'm guessing it was an unintentional shape.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I really don't have it. A donut shaped? I don't know. Grasping at straws.
Something pop culture-ish. Let's put it that way. Shaped in something that's pop culture-ish.
Scepter.
That would be very, very
It was very emphatic for no reason.
I'm thinking it's
like
a
anything in pop
Cheeto
culture.
shaped like a person. I just don't know
Maybe.
the person.
Okay. Any other suggestions? And this was, I'll give you a hint. This was it says updated March 6, 2025. So this was probably somewhat new. Somewhat newish. Yes. Think of pop culture because I was thinking this would be a good one for our pop culture topic. Something pop culture-ish, shaped Cheeto, sells for $90,000. And it's not a person. I just want to make sure
Microphone?
that we don't lean into that person.
Would you say, Soul?
I think she said
Microphone?
Microphone.
Maybe it's shaped like a soda bottle because he keeps saying pop and I know where he lives. Blech.
Yes.
I can't see it.
I'll give you another clue. It is a very popular movie, TV show thing. It's about as best I can do with
That did not help in any way, shape, or form. That did
Cartoon.
not help.
Cartoon. That'll be my last clue. Blank shaped Cheeto.
Let's see.
Sells for
There's
$90,000.
Gargoyles. There's Superman. There's Roly Poly Oly. Dora the Explorer.
Oh, Roly Poly Oly. Oh, God. Nostalgia trip for the win.
Pop
yes.
culture. I don't know. I truly don't have. I truly don't have a guess.
I really hope somebody in chat or somebody in the comments gets this before you guys do. Just throw out a guess and I will read the story to you because this is pretty funny.
Yoda.
That's a great guess.
It is.
Ani?
Pop culture. It's a cartoon. I'm gonna
Raggy?
go with BMO from Adventure Time.
All right.
Another one I haven't
I'm
seen.
going to read you the story, and I sent it to you via Discord so you could see it because there's a picture.
You must see it to believe it.
Yes. So
My jaw
the
is
story
dropped.
is there's a new contender for the world's most expensive crunchy snack, a Pokemon-shaped flaming hot Cheeto named Cheetozard has sold for $87,840 to an unnamed buyer, the Golden Auction House said in the social media shape. The 3-inch, 7 centimeters long Cheeto, shaped like a character Charizard from the Japanese anime series, is affixed to a customized Pokemon card and enclosed in a box. The dragon-shaped spicy snack was discovered and preserved by a sports memorabilia company sometime between 2018 and 2022, then surged in popularity on the social media last year, according to Golden's website. Almost $90,000, which is technically $87,840. And it definitely, I'm going to share this in the next episode. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think whatever we cover this episode, I'm going to throw it in the comments on the next episode. So if you want to see this picture, you can look it up. But yeah, the link of the story that I pull from will be on the following podcast. So then you, without spoiler alerting what it is. So check that Cheetozard.
My
Does it look
God.
like Cheetozard to you? Did you look at that?
It does.
It does.
I see it. I see it.
$87,000 though. Oh.
FOMO. It's FOMO. It's the only one there is.
You must love Pokemon to spend that much money on a Cheetozard.
All right, throwback to 90s slang here, but my goodness, consider my Jimmy's rustled. The
Oh my
frick.
goodness.
Because
Oh my God, that's
like
hilarious.
I could never understand. I really cannot understand the mega wealthy sometimes. Freaking almost 90K for a Cheeto. A Cheeto.
Shaped like a dinosaur.
That would change somebody else's life if you just gave that money to somebody that, was having a rough time. That would just change their life. But you want to spend it on a Cheetozard. Wow. Well, I mean, spending money on $90,000 or for a Cheetozard, or you know what? We got something better for you. Let's go over to Soulskin for the bright side.
Dig it.
Welcome back to the bright side, where sometimes life reminds us that even the smallest acts of love can ripple through the world in ways we never expect. Today, I want to share a story that does exactly that. A story about heartbreak, hope, and a little bit of magic. Meet Casey, a young bride, ready to walk down the aisle. Her wedding day was full of excitement, smiles, and a promise of a beautiful future. Behind that joy, she carried a quiet, deep ache. She had lost her son, Miles, a pain no parent should ever feel. Even though Miles' life was far too short, he left a gift that would forever change another life. Miles had been an organ donor, and his heart had saved a 7-year-old boy named Selah. On Casey's wedding day, she finally met Selah for the very first time. Picture this: a mother glowing in her excitement of her wedding, listening to her son's heartbeat through the chest of a little boy she had never met. It was more than a heartbeat. It was a bridge between loss and love, a reminder that even when someone leaves us, their love can keep moving forward. And then the moment that would touch hearts everywhere, Selah walked Casey down the aisle. Not as a guest, not as a friend, but carrying the life her son had given. Grief turned into something new that day. Pain became connection. Loss became a bridge between two families. Now, Casey calls Selah a brother to her other children. A living, breathing reminder that love doesn't end with loss. It grows. It spreads. It surprises us. Stories like this remind us of something simple but powerful. Hope can appear in unexpected moments, in kindness of strangers, and in the brave choices we make for each other. Sometimes hope is quiet. It's a heartbeat you can hear. It's a gesture that touches a life forever. It's love showing up when you least expect it. So today, let's carry this. Even in sorrow, there is room for joy. Even in endings, new beginnings can appear. And even in loss, love will find a way. Thank you for listening, and remember, life has a way of surprising us with beauty. I'm Soulskin, and this has been The Bright Side.
Hello, everybody, and once again, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of The Common Tangent. Myself, RJ, and Soul are greatly appreciative of every single one of you that continues to tune into the show. If you continue to like what we do here, please feel free to follow us anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Also, follow us on social media. Everywhere we are The Common Tangent, and If you have a question for the cards, for the Fae forecast, feel free to drop us a comment or a message and let us know, and we can get that question answered for you. Or if you have any suggestions or the like, feel free to drop us a line either way. Once again, we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. This episode was a little chaotic, but as always, with the common tangent, you never know where we're going to end up. So thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.